All right. I believe that is the sound of Hebbings joining me here today. Hello, Speed Gaming 4. My name is Wout, and Hebbings is here in the booth with me tonight, and we have yet more Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer action. How are you doing, Hebbings?
I'm doing all right. Looking forward to this match. This is our first match of the semifinals.
All right. Always fun. Yeah, so if you haven't caught any of these before now, it's pretty straightforward. We have a bunch of crap we need to find and a Dark King to kill, and pretty much how we're going to get there is going to be chaos. Um, Probably a little too vague, but good enough. But yeah, the important things you need to know going into this are we are looking for 3 or 4 pieces of important equipment and a bunch of key items because our ultimate goal is to get into the final dungeon, and that is the only requirement we have to meet. If we can actually complete all the event triggers to get into the final dungeon and then clear the various floors of the dungeon by interacting with the environment, that's all that matters.
Yep,
And
this
you can pick up as you go.
yep, the speed run. I mean, this randomizer is completely gated by items. There is no boss requirements. There are no dungeon requirements. All that matters in this game is if you have the items you need. Those items being a sword, dragon claw, mega grenades, thunder rock, captain's cap, Mobius crest, sun coin, and sky coin. And you can sub out the sun coin for multi-key if that option presents itself. And it looks like our runners are starting off.
Mhm. And we are starting with a bomb today and a charm.
Yeah, old man handing out the first accessory. Not
Yeah, charm.
great.
I mean, that charm is still +5 magic.
Fair. Does give you that magic increase. Also a little bit of evasion. Excalibur, though.
And that is +5 speed. So, yeah. So the weapon you have equipped in this game does actually affect more than just your damage output. So you're going to see the runners, once we kind of have a more robust selection of gear, swapping things out as needed. I believe most people prefer to stay on cloak for the most part because magic is just really good.
Yeah. And this Excalibur is the strongest weapon in the game. Not the most consistent weapon in the game, though. Mega Grenades is the most consistent and powerful weapon in the game, but Excalibur edges it out in terms of raw damage. SirLinkalot taking advantage of that bomb start, though, making use of these weak enemies and getting guaranteed hits and multi-targeting as opposed to going for the single target strategy of the RPGchick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't RPGchick for going the route she's going. Bombs, as you said, are consistent. They do not depend on your character's stats. But that also means that if, say, these toads had rolled stupidly high, the bombs could prove ineffectual.
Indeed. Starting off though with the bombs to kind of gauge the strength, though, a bit of a gamble. Looks like it paid off for SirLinkalot here, and looks like he's about to roll up on his last fight here.
And RPG just showed us one of the other reasons that bombs are useful in certain circumstances. Bombs cannot miss. Even if you are blinded, bombs cannot miss, and they hit the whole group. And
Libra crest. Yep,
You
if our
don't
runners
usually-
gets.
Go ahead. No,
I was gonna say if our...
Okay, you go.
I was gonna say if our runners get sand coin here, this is gonna be a very interesting check.
Well, there's a Thunder Rock, but yeah. Now, so Libra Crest, it does gate a key item, but I haven't gotten to see too terribly much of it this tournament.
No, it only really gates one check, and it's kind of like been intermittent this entire tournament.
Yeah, but yeah, that'll be nice because as soon as we can get into Aquaria, that's a quick, easy check for a key item or equipment. We did also get the life book, and that is something you really like to see early. Life in this game is unnecessarily overpowered.
Indeed, and we got the Thunder Rock from the Steel Shield chest. RPGchick opting to skip that chest for now. Hopefully she remembers it on the way out.
I mean, she doesn't have exit. and it's right by the entrance, so even if we do find exit down here somehow, it's not the end of the world if it's, say, you know, if she does say need to come back, run back in here, but she's an experienced enough runner, she knows that that box is there. But I imagine also, you know, having bombs this early has been kind of a hit or miss in this tournament. So it could also be a matter of muscle memory of just, well, I can't check that box yet. But she knows she has bombs. She'll get it on the way out.
Indeed. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot taking on Flamosaurus Rex here, making a pretty easy time of it with Excalibur here, although there have been a couple misses. You hate to see those.
Mm-hmm. And putting that life spell to work to get his Tristan back up.
I think you had it right the first time.
Now, okay, Tristan does have a lot of uses. He is the fastest character in this game, bar none. And I think even, like, most bosses can't outspeed him.
This is true.
Tristan won a little less so, but it's still one of those things, you know. Tristan isn't the worst. He could be worse. He could be worse.
Quite the upstanding defense of the treasure hunter here, and Rex goes down. Let's see what SirLinkalot's going to get for his troubles here. RPGchick not too far behind him.
Yeah, well, we know they're going to have to get a coin out of one of these boxes. Just because we can't actually continue the game without them. Well, I guess we could get a tree wither and have to go back to get Kaylee, and then get a coin from Kaylee. Whatever. Point being...
the round robin.
Yeah. Well, there's the river coin, so that's going to be our Fireberg access, and that Aegis shield is a welcome sight.
Indeed, that's going to grant our runners immunity from paralysis, petrification, and give a hefty bonus to defense and evasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so petrification resistance. Why that's important? Well, first of all, petrification sucks. But second of all, for those of you who are familiar with the vanilla game, you are probably familiar with the fact that the final boss, Dark King, is subject to a very famous glitch involving the Cure spell and casting it on him and doing most of his health in one turn. That doesn't exist in this randomizer. The developer Wildham took that out pretty early on in development, and we don't even have a flag to turn it back on. So we have to actually fight Dark King, and Dark King is not an easy fight. It can be an easy fight, but it isn't necessarily an easy fight. Yeah, their RPGchick grabbed her Thunder Rock, so yeah, everything evened up.
All is right in the world.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's definitely something to be a little bit concerned about, just because it is an easy oversight.
I may or may not be guilty of that myself, of accidentally skipping that after getting bombs from Tristram when he handed them to me at the door.
Yeah, I mean, are you really a randomizer runner until you've forgotten an early game check simply because you got the thing needed to check at an inconvenient time?
Everybody gets one. At least.
You get one, and then the next time it happens, you're going to get made fun of for it.
2 encounters from that first battleground there. We'll see if either of our runners decide to go double back, or if they're going to go shopping for 1200 GP from that battlefield on the left. Both of our runners wisely opting to take Ruben instead of Tristram 1 to those fights. Let's see what the treasure hunter's handing out today. Elixir.
I mean, he did, you know, hold it hostage, so it makes sense he's got it. Alright, so both of them going back for, well, alright. RPGchick gonna go ahead and start digging into this battlefield. The one she is on will yield a key item of some sort. But
meanwhile, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as Headbings here pointed out, Linkalot doing a battleground that's gonna give us some cash.
Yeah, this one's going to give him 900 GP. This will be enough to buy 2 of the vendors, but not all 3. The rest of the money he'll probably recoup through random battles, or he might stop at another battleground along the way.
I mean, it's also one of those things he may be banking on at least one of these 3 having something he doesn't need. There are now 2 shields and 2 swords that are no longer relevant to him. So he could be banking on not needing to buy a top tier from someone.
Indeed, an RPGchick I think is on her final fight now. Let's see what the reward for this battleground is.
Gotta give it a moment.
Battle Axe.
Battle Axe. So the axe, the one weapon class that is not strictly required in order to finish the game. However, it does open up a few checks here and there.
Yep, it'll let you fight Pazuzu at the top of the tower, and it'll also let you check the alive forest and giant tree.
Yeah. You know, it opens up checks that no one wants to do, but it does open up checks.
I missed what that vendor lady was selling, but SirLinkalot wasn't having it.
Yeah. And RPGchick going to go ahead and do the 1200 GP battlefield as well. It was also a 2 enemy dealio, so...
Not only will this give her all the money she needs for all the vendors, this will give her plenty of leftover cash for seeds later.
Alright, chat saying that it was a giant's axe from the vendor?
Fair enough. Sandcoin from the battleground south of mines. That'll open up Aquaria if our runners decide to dip and maybe find mega grenades somewhere else. Speaking of grenades, we got jumbos.
Yeah, they're like grenades, except not.
Non-chuckables.
Yep. So, we don't have a claw, so that's going to leave out a lot of the remaining checks here in Fireburg. So, Linkalot deciding that early Medusa is not for him. Gonna go ahead and head over to Aquaria. RPGchick, meanwhile, gonna go ahead and make her rounds here in Fireburg now that she's got some cash.
Doing some quick math, coming out with a sweet 21 seeds. Probably gonna go check the vendor next. Looks like we have a slight freeze up on SirLinkalot's stream here before he grabbed the Aquaria Tower check.
That's fine. Alright, yeah, so RPGchick confirming for us, so both runners now running around with a giant's axe. And Linkalot getting a Phoebe. And the Moon Helm.
Very nice. That's going to give him that fire resistance he's going to want for the final battle with Dark King. Not to mention some other nasty bosses on his way to the end of the game. And it looks like RPGchick's going to go confront Medusa.
I don't hate the play. She's dealt with worse Medusas.
This is fair. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot accidentally leaving Phoebe on auto, only getting a single fire instead of the multi one. Ooh, paralysis. Not good. And sleep.
It'll be fine.
Gaia armor from Aquaria, though.
So, at this point, really, equipment-wise, all we're really looking for is the locket, right?
Essentially, yeah. Cupid Locket's essentially the last piece our runners need. Apollo Helmet would be nice for the stat bumps, but doesn't offer anything else in terms of resistances or immunities.
Yep. And we did see a mask out of the Aquarium Merchant, so...
Although it looks like all the encounters that the RPGchick's been running into so far have been mandatory, so not a huge gain on SirLinkalot's end.
Yeah. Because, yeah, RPGchick I know for, a fact, is one of those runners who will 100% run and try to go around if she runs into one of these invisible encounters. But, yeah. So, let's see how bad Medusa is today.
And looks like she made a smart play with that safety save there. Hopefully it plays off for... Ooh, not a strong start. Ruben hitting himself in the face with that Morning Star after getting confused.
Yeah, and without a claw in hand, our magic a little bit weaker than I think maybe RPGchick used to. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot gonna make short work of this crab battle. Oh, he never did pick up the giant's axe.
No, he did not.
I mean, it's very smartly remembering that the axe is useful against the crab, but either way, that is going to be a captain's cap out of Falls Basin. So, so those are probably two of the most obnoxious items to find. Thunder Rock and the captain's cap, and we've already got both of them.
But let's not forget the king of obnoxious items to find, the Sky Coin. That can be literally anywhere.
Yeah, but I imagine both of these runners are going to check some of the earlier checks.
Speaking of claw items, RPGchick just got her Dragon Claw from Medusa.
That's actually going to probably be huge, because that's going to open up, at the very least, the mine check. And we won't be able to check Ruben's dad unless we get Mega Grenades out of the mine, but
we will be able to trade in for a Ruben 2 after getting our Ruben check done, which could be huge for speed progress through bosses moving forward.
Oh yeah, 100%. Though we may see RPGchick decide to trade out Ruben for Phoebe just to go ahead and get that Wintry Cave check and set up that Phoebe 2 acquisition.
Ooh,
but
exit!
That exit spell is going to be the big difference maker. Because that... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm surprised she's not using it right now. I'd be exiting. There we go.
Yeah. The exit efficiency on mine is one of those things I think, that's one of those things I think is a little kind of hand-wavy on whether or not folks remember they can do that. And how much time it really saves, but either way, yeah. Depending on when Linkalot either decides to go do that Medusa check, or finds another claw, that could definitely work in RPGchick's favor.
Oh, for sure, especially if Ice Pyramid turns out to be a dud, not to curse SirLinkalot with commentary curse, but if this is all mid-tier items and nothing go mode, this could be a huge time sink if RPGchick doesn't go that route as well.
Yeah. The only thing working in SirLinkalot's favor is that he's only going to be able to do this Noble Armor Chest check. But yeah, he's getting into a lot of fights. And if it turns out that, say, something required is in the Ice Pyramid, that double dip is going to hurt.
Indeed, especially with all these enemies he's encountering here, this is definitely one of the heavier forced encounter sections of the game. There's not a lot of hallways where he can run like this and get around, and sometimes the randomizer just loves to shuffle enemies next to each other in the double wide hallways.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. He manages to avoid in this case, but yeah. So, regardless, yeah, and if RPGchick has to do a double dip here, that exit spell is going to be huge.
Ruben handing out the Mega Grenades like normal. I've seen that more times in this tournament than I think I've seen period. Cupid Locket for SirLinkalot's troubles, though.
Yeah, okay, so that Mega Grenade being there is huge, because here's the other thing. Linkalot, I think he just reset out, so he decides not to walk that Cupid Locket out, but knows it's there. But, so, and there's your Sky Coin.
From Ruben's dad, making all the right plays tonight.
That mine was stacked. That was exit, Mega Grenades, and Sky Coin. And while exit's not required, you want exit. But Linkalot is at least going to be picking up this Dragon Claw. Because there's no way he's coming back here to do Lava Dome. So we'll see what he does once he has his claw.
And meanwhile, RPGchick, speaking of Lava Dome, fades it completely, doesn't even do the 2 Mega Grenade checks, going straight for Aquaria. Getting her Apollo Helm, that's what was in that check.
See, I was going to make a comment about how, yeah, that Moon Helm's great unless we already have an Apollo Helm.
Indeed.
But I figured, what are the odds of there being of that chest having been Apollo Helm?
Never tell me the odds.
Apparently 100%.
Indeed. RPGchick opting to grab Phoebe instead of smacking that giant crab with Ruben's Morningstar. Ruben, one of the more jacked party members you can have. He's not as strong in the magic department like Phoebe is. However, he makes up for it with games. I think he has the strongest physical attack out of all your party members in the game.
Oh, let me take a quick look. Second strongest. Kaylee 2 is actually stronger than Ruben by 7 points.
Oh, man. However, taking that Morningstar to that crab and watching him explode, always entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, the trade-off is Kaylee 2 has less HP than Ruben 2. Not a lot less, but just enough to make a difference.
RPGchick getting her Gaia armor now is going to be able to do a full clear here of Wintry Cave. If this has our Mobius crest, this could be the RPGchick's game to win.
Well, I mean, honestly, if there's anything back here that can lead to progression, or heck, even if we have like White or Flare back here, that would be huge for RPGchick.
Also, still missing the access to Windia for Go mode. I neglected to notice that Suncoin and Multikey are not on the table, so either one of those could be huge as well.
Yeah, I mean, Multi-Key less so until we find the Mobius Crest, but yeah, if we find a Sun Coin here, that's going to be big. But we'll see where things wind up going. But that is Linkalot's Dragon Claw, so we're going to see where he goes now. I imagine he's going to opt for Mine. I think most runners have at least, like, recognize that Mine is a fast enough check to where even if you have to double dip in order to do the Mega Grenade check and save Ruben's dad, it's often worth the trouble just to get Ruben too.
Yeah, a lot of us have been...
Shield is not what RPGchick wanted to see at the back of Wintry Cave.
A lot of us has been burned by not checking mines. Meanwhile, RPGchick doing some shopping. I don't think we saw what the vendor was selling from SirLinkalot's end. Ooh. Oh, that's right. That's right. It was the mask.
Yeah. Still, that's gonna save RPGchick some money. So she's gonna be coming back here, getting her captain's cap check done. Doing a little bit, having a little bit of muscle memory there, with progression through this dungeon.
Indeed.
But yeah, so I think this means our progression's at Lava Dome. We've seen everything else now.
Except for the bottom of Ice Pyramid. This could Ice Pyramid could hold the rest of what we need.
You're right. I forgot that RPGchick can do Ice Pyramid and Linkalot can't, or couldn't when he came in here. So yeah, I get completely blanked my mind. So Linkalot probably gonna go do Lava Dome after this, just because he's already done the one trip into Ice Pyramid. But RPGchick, I think, is going to full clear ice here.
Yeah, but RPGchick showing off just how much more damage that Giant's Axe does versus the Battle Axe. This should be a 2-round kill for her. Ooh, miss.
I'd say you jinxed it. We're on a 15-minute delay.
Indeed. Nothing I say can hold me accountable because everything's already happened.
I mean, unless you subscribe to a non-linear understanding of time, in which case everything has already happened, and your jinx was thus retroactively applied because it was simultaneous with the events that we are watching unfold, even though, from a linear perspective, we're watching it 15 minutes after it happened.
True, but in another timeline, I didn't jinx her. So, there's that.
Right. So, you know what? We're just not going to worry about any of it.
Ooh, the single check and fade from RPGchick looks like she might be doubling back to Lava Dome.
I don't hate it. I'm surprised. I am genuinely surprised. I wasn't expecting this play. But I'm not surprised at the same time. Lava Dome people have warmed up to.
Yeah, a lot of us have been learning from each other from this tournament. You know, each of us commenting on little tricks we picked up from the other, and RPGchick might have picked that up from one of our other tournament runs where someone did a full deep dive and got burned for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's also one of those things, Lava Dome, it's been pointed out multiple times, is a good source of XP. Just trying to kind of get everything. And if you've got, like, one of the second-tier party members, like Ruben 2 or Phoebe 2, who's packing these powerful room-clearing spells, that's really solid. And there's our Mobius crest. Linkalot thought about it, and then remembered he doesn't have the multi-key.
Indeed.
So, alright, kind of while both runners are doing a little bit of traversing a long dungeon. The way the logic in this randomizer operates, it assumes in order to access an area, you have the corresponding coin. So sand coin for Aquaria, river coin for Firebird, sun coin for Windia, blah blah blah. However, as anyone who is familiar with this game is aware, there are also shortcuts between Windia, Aquaria, and Firebird. They're triggered by those crests, the Libra, Gemini, and Mobius crest you see on the bottom row there. So there is a shortcut from Windia to Firebird that you can only access with a claw item and the multi-key item. The randomizer does not account for that when it's placing items. So anything in Windia you can get to with a Mobius crest and a multi-key out of logic. But you are technically out of logic there. Most runners in this tournament have not cared about being out of logic, but it is still important to be mindful of when you are running this.
SirLinkalot opting to check the moon helmet and dip, getting a cat claw for his troubles, and now doing some more money shopping while he goes in and preps potentially to go back into Ice Pyramid here. I think that's about the only other location he has available to.
He could also be thinking of going back to do the second half of Wintry Cave. Like, anything he does in Aquaria is fair game since he's not worrying about toting Phoebe around. So, RPGchick going to be opening this box, and we'll see what she decides to do. I think she's going to finish out Lava Dome.
She could be, or she could just be going to hit the switch before she leaves Lava Dome and goes back to Ice Pyramid.
Very true.
I did see SirLinkalot opted to not hit the switch. If the Wyvern is holding our Go Mode item, that is going to be a bit of a longer trek for him since he didn't push the switch, so he'll have to go hit the switch, then exit, and then go back in again, and then make his way to the Wyvern.
Yep. And yeah, just so it is clear, the reason Hebbings is saying our Go Mode item is, as he's pointed a couple of times, at this point, either multi-key or sun coin is going to be Go Mode for us, or at least is going to put us in a state where we can hypothetically the game. Whether or not we have the levels to do so is debatable.
The level 14 is a nice place to go in at the bare minimum for Tower. It is going to be one of your rougher completions, but it is going to give you just enough wiggle room to be level 16 by the time you fight Dark King, to where you can live through Mega White. I can't speak to the stronger spells, but you can live through Mega White at level 16.
Yeah, both of these runners are good. I don't know if they're that good. I don't know if anyone's that good, unless we have a paper Dark King.
I've seen some crazy stuff in the weekly seeds. Uh-oh.
We'll
Disconnect from the RPGchick. We will get her back in a minute. She has been mentioning there have been some network stability issues out where she lives, so hopefully we'll get her back up here soon. Thankfully, she is recording locally, so don't worry, folks. We will be able to verify this run. So let's go ahead and focus on SirLinkalot, now making his second dive into Ice Pyramid here.
Yeah, and Chanigan in chat making an excellent point. Because of that logic, our Sun Coin has to be either in Ice Pyramid, Lava Dome, or Wintry Cave. And while we already know it's not in Wintry Cave, so Linkalot currently statistically advantaged. He's got 2 boxes that can have the Sun Coin to RPGchick's 1.
Indeed.
Now,
It'll just be a matter of how this plays out.
Yeah, what would be really entertaining is if one of these runners finds the multi-key and the other one finds the sun coin.
That would be good, because both, like Wout said, both of those items give access to Windia. It's just a matter of where you land when you go into Windia.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed this seed being a little sparse on the wizard spell front, though. I don't think any of our runners have any mentionable wizard spells.
I don't think we have any. I don't even think we have like thunder.
Yeah. So lack of firepower from Ben. However, he has the perfect triage set up with all of his equipment, Excalibur, and life.
Yeah. The only if I were in these runners' shoes, I'd still want to see a cure spell from Ben. Just because of how much multi-hitting Dark King does. But life at least definitely good on the triage front.
Indeed,
So.
and they have arrow, so they'll at least be able to fight 2 of the 3 fights with Ben with decent damage. Not the best, but good, decent damage from Ben.
Yeah, and exit will help clear out the stone golem, so we got that.
And Phoebe kills Rex, no problem. So.
Yeah. And dual head Hydra never actually causes anyone difficulty. Like,
more like
I
HP
genuinely
sponge.
cannot remember the last time I've seen a speed where like anyone was actually stymied by a fire floor. Zuh can be tricky, but Linkalot should be fine for that fight. But we are here at the moment of truth. We got 2 boxes that can have Sun Coin. If neither of them has it, we know RPGchick, even though we can't.
That's go mode for SirLinkalot, and I don't think he realized it.
Oh, please let there not be a Sun Coin here. Please let this be the dream where both runners have go mode despite diverging. But yeah, this should be a very quick, clean fight, and then Linkalot will probably put together that he can go to Windia. Because even if he doesn't realize at the moment that's go mode, he's gonna go do that check on his way back to Lava Dome.
Also, he'll probably stop and grab that Cupid locket, because that's going to be a great security blanket for the silver webs.
Yeah. So, we're gonna see where this goes. Yeah, so that is one thing. RPGchick will not have that Cupid locket. If this box isn't the Sun Coin, we'll know RPGchick doesn't have the Cupid locket.
Indeed, you get some comments from chat. Some folks, some brave souls have decided to try to fight Dark King with just attack. One of our runners, the RPGchick, has taken Tristram 2 to that fight. And that is a Night Sword.
So, okay, even though we can't see RPGchick, that tells us something right there.
We have a dual go mode situation.
Yeah, she has the Sun Coin, and probably got it right about there, because, she had a little bit of a longer journey to follow, but, yeah. Words. Excitement.
Yeah,
so Linkalot, though, gonna... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm still wondering if he realizes he's in go mode or not.
Well, here's the thing. He's almost certainly going to go check that, the Hermit here in Fireburg, and when he does that, it'll hopefully click in his head, I have Mobius Crest, and I'm in the Mobius Crest house. So, and he also may have...
Hermit had Sun Coin.
Never mind! I forgot the Hermit can have that. Okay,
Yes.
Never mind. RPGchick is not in go mode. RPGchick is now at a massive disadvantage, because she's now got to wander through Ice Pyramid. To get that multi-key, to go to the Hermit, to get the Sun Coin. I was excited, Binks.
Yeah, it was gonna be pretty cool, but circumstances aside, that is Randomizer. Now, RPGchick can make up for a little bit of time here by not talking to the Hermit. She's probably well on her way through the pyramid at this point, and this still isn't over. If Linkalot hits trouble with a particularly nasty Dark King and decides to go in low level, this could spell disaster. the other way around, though, Linkalot's here farming for levels. If RPGchick decides to go in at a comfy 16 from Lava Dome EXP, that could help save her some time in the long run.
Yeah. Also, if she opts just go ahead and exit out as soon as she sees that multi-key, we know that that's going to, put her at a little bit of a disadvantage. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what on earth Linkalot is. Oh, he's still looking for wizard spells.
Deciding to armor up a little bit.
Yeah, so, yeah. Fighting Dark King with only attacks sucks. That's why we use wizard spells. Pretty much everyone who races this randomizer at this point recognizes that Flare and White are what you want to fight Dark King with. It's one of the other reasons that Tristram is a less popular choice for taking as your final companion. Mostly because Tristram can't use good magic. So he is basically just a heal bot that you basically bring along because he is faster than Dark King.
You know what? I'm gonna make a small prediction here. I'm thinking either Flare or White's in the first floor of Doom Tower, bottom right chest. There's Meteor.
Okay. Spencer giving us the key to the box next to him is peak comedy. Meteor!
Meteor's okay. It will do more
Meteor's
damage to the
okay.
Wyvern. It will only do half damage to Dark King. He is resistant to the 4 major elements: earth, wind, water, fire. But it is, as they say,
He's
better
not
than
resistant
nothing.
to fire.
Oh, true. He is not resistant to fire. That's why Flare does damage. My apologies. Earth, wind, and water, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lightning.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, bottom line, though, it is a situation where yeah. Words. Yeah, it is a situation, though, where Linkalot cannot be feeling happy with bringing Meteor. Because, like you said, it's not going to be very effective, and that means you're basically relying on Phoebe's damage output. But hey, we could go get Kaylee too if we really wanted to.
Still calling
We're not, but we could.
I'm still hedging all my bets here. I'm saying Flare or White, bottom right chest. Chat, let me know your predictions. Let me know if you agree with me. And I better get some Pog champs from the chat if I'm right here.
I'm going to make the prediction Linkalot's not going to check that box. He's going to say... He's going to be operating on the assumption that RPGchick is ahead of him because he had to do that Ice Pyramid double dip, and he's just going to go for it. Yeah, and just go with Meteor's good enough.
Nope, looks like he's checking the chest.
Alright, well, I was already wrong.
Called it, chat!
Alright, Hebbinks, I'm afraid we are going to have to burn you as a witch. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
Yes, chat. Unfortunately, RPGchick's having some internet stability issues. However, she is still recording, so she will be able to formally submit her time once she is completed. We'll be able to verify that as well with the recording if we don't get her up by the time this is over. So unfortunately, we won't have a winner right away. However, we will be able to verify one for you guys.
And we will at least be able to tell you what times they put in for their finish. So... But in the meantime,
looks like chat's agreeing with you a little bit on me being a witch, by the way.
Alright, but yeah, that flare is definitely a massive bailout for both of these runners. Dark King is a painful enough fight when you do have two characters capable of laying on damage. When you only have one character laying on damage and she is susceptible to an instant quote-unquote death spell, it's not great.
No,
it's not great. It's
Never
a
fun.
slow fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SirLinkalot probably going to be finishing out this Doom Tower with a level 18 to 19. Depends on how many encounters he hits here, but that should be a comfy spot. He won't be able to live through Spider Kids or Laser, but he will be able to live through most of the major damage he'll be able to take from Dark King, including Flare, Mega White, and the Webs, since he has full resistances here.
The biggest drawback for him is going to be the fact that those levels, even with Excalibur on, unless Dark King just rolls abysmally for speed, Benjamin is going to be going last most rounds.
Indeed. Meanwhile, chat, would you like to see a giant disappear behind a pane of glass? Blink and you might miss it.
I mean, blink and you might miss it is the theme of this randomizer.
Indeed. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot here dealing with some extra chunky and nasty dogs here. Hopefully Phoebe doesn't white the party. Opting to shoot herself with her own bow. Impressive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I played enough Minecraft. I know how it works in theory to shoot yourself with a bow, but regardless, we are through that the last of the freebies in terms of bosses. So Fire Floor going to go relatively quickly. SirLinkalot remembering that he does have the tools to quickly patch up.
And if he gets 3 more levels here, not only will he have enough HP to live through Spider Kids, if he does get enough encounters to get to level 20, he'll also be able to have 5 wizard spell charges for the final fight instead of 4 for Ben. 1 extra charge here could make all the difference for our runners.
Absolutely. Yeah, so in terms of where RPGchick could be, just kind of spitballing real quick while SirLinkalot finishes out this Fire Floor. So we know she was on her way to the back of Lava. So that was probably about, what, 3-4 minutes that she had to spend getting there?
Depending on the enemy placement, yeah.
Yeah. So the big question mark on her part is what was in Lava Dome. Because if, say, White was at the back of Lava Dome, that's a lot less running around. Not a lot less, but less running around that she would be doing. We know she then would be going to Ice Pyramid. And at least has to get down to the drop down because that's where we found the multi-piece. And that was about probably another 3 minutes. So, but SirLinkalot did spend a little extra time digging around for stuff because he wasn't quite comfortable with his magic situation. So,
being generous, I would say she's probably at the base of Doom Tower now. If she decided to do some extra exploration, she could be getting on Mac's ship, roughly.
That seems about right. She's definitely going to need some help from Dark King. But the thing is we do know she was ahead of SirLinkalot in the experience when she was going back into Lava Dome. Because she was like level 14 to SirLinkalot's 13 when we lost her signal, I think. And she was making the higher XP play. So she's probably going to have at least a level on SirLinkalot going into the final fight.
Indeed, and if this is a fast and thick Dark King, being able to live through Spider Kids and lasers could make a lot of difference here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we are looking at a level 19 Benjamin, depending. Well, we're definitely going to hit 18, I think, and we might hit 19 depending on enemy placement. And I'm already seeing a couple of spots where I think we are going to wind up having some forced fights.
Yeah, I counted 4 on the way in. Probably maybe about 5 or 6, depending on what the back of this room looks like. That's going to be more than enough to get him to 18. That first fight did it. He'll probably hit 20 if there's enough fights in the back.
Yeah, and RPG is going to be going through the same thing, so she could hit 21 depending on kind of where enemies were positioned, that part of Lava Dome we didn't get to see.
Yeah, I think 23 is the minimum to live through laser, since it does do such nasty damage. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, though. It could be 22.
think it might be 22, because I think laser does somewhere in the 800s.
Yeah, it's like 830 something if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. So, for folks playing along at home, Dark King is one of the only enemies in the game whose abilities are not dependent on his stats. So that means that you go, no matter what the seed is set up with in terms of flags, exactly what Dark King is capable of. Which is why we're able to sit here and have this conversation about what could Benjamin survive.
Indeed, and Phase 2 especially likes to cheat, where he has some elemental-based weapons that don't actually do elemental-based damage, and so resistances don't matter, like his flame sword, that doesn't have flame properties.
Is that cheating, or is that just poor programming?
No, I think it's perfect programming, because the guy is evil. And that's just a nasty thing to do.
Oh, come on. That's like... I don't care how evil you are. That's the equivalent of yelling punch and then kicking a man in the face.
That sounds like something a villain would do.
Or just a particularly sneaky protagonist.
That sounds like a Joestar to me.
It is from an anime, actually, but I believe that it's still, like, being animated, so I won't talk about which one that happens in.
Meanwhile, SirLinkalot gearing up for the stupid sexy bird. Chat, get your drawing pads ready. We might see some poses here tonight, depending on how thick this chicken is.
Or, I personally am hoping we do get to see the now you see me, now you don't, out of that French birds phase. But this is looking like a thick suck.
Yeah, not already in Phase 2, so we'll at least see Phase 3 for a couple seconds here. We'll see if Linkalot can kill him before they get the shield up. Usually Phase 3 animation, the Phase 3 pose doesn't happen. There it is, chat. Stupid sexy bird, and he's gone.
You said a few seconds, and darned if he didn't call it.
Yeah, so Linkalot at level 20. This is nice and comfy. He will barely scrape by living through Spider Kids at this level. Have a decent amount of speed, not the greatest, but no one ever wants to max out Ben in this tournament. For a good reason. It's slow. So he'll have a decent amount of speed, a good chunk of HP, and the most important thing, 5 wizard spell slots to flare the Dark King as opposed to only 4. Losing time to a turn of having to seed could make all the difference here.
Absolutely, but we're going to let this music play for a bit, see in Phase 2. That was a fairly robust Phase 1. So, each of these...
I was going to say about average.
Yeah, it took 3 shots. That's better than I've seen a lot of Phase 1s do. So, Dark King has 4 phases. Each phase rolls its HP separately. So, it can be very rude at the later phases.
Indeed, yeah. And this is where we kind of tell if this is a paper king or a thick king. The first 2 phases can kind of go down. This is a paper king for sure, chat. Get ready on time. Well, Phase 4 already here.
Phase 4 can still be surprising. I was waiting for the red glow just because I know how these games like to prove me wrong, but...
Just so the game could be contrarian. I'll think about 2 turns left here. 1 turn of triage, and then another full-blown attack, maybe 2. And I think this is done and done.
Yeah.
Both of our party members being able to outspeed the king, so slow and thin. Yep. Linkalot going all in here.
I don't blame him. When you see the red glow, Dark King's dead, and there it is.
Yep.
So SirLinkalot is going to finish with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, or not 1 hour, 0 hours, 47 minutes, and 55 seconds. So go ahead and get those GGs into chat.
And we do have a reported time from the RPG
Yeah.
check. So pretty
Yeah.
sure we'll get that submitted to confirm.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get Linkalot in here, and then, well, we don't really have a timer for RPGchick, and I don't think her internet's going to come back, so let's go ahead and get them both in here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and see if her net's available for an interview. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot, GG's, friend.
Thank you.
So, were you, describe how unhappy you were having to double dip Ice Pyramid.
Not too terribly unhappy because I mean the first time I went in there I was kind of doing like it was like a 66% gamble that my progression was somewhere in there, and if it wasn't there, it was sitting in Volcano. And it was just like it felt bad that I had to double dip it, but I was just like I feel pretty good that it's probably here.
Yeah. All right, and RPGchick should be hopping in here in a second as well, and we can talk a little bit more about the overall seed. So, but yeah, yeah, you also we saw had a bit of fun going on an adventure to find anything to hit Dark King with. Also, GG RPGchick.
Thanks.
Yep, GG.
Get OBS to come back up after my internet came back because of the 15-minute delay thing, and I'm very untech savvy, so
No worries. Before we get
We
to
had fun speculating.
Yeah, I was going to say, Linkalot, we'll jump back to the question I just asked you in a moment, but I have a far more pressing question that really need to ask RPGchick. What was in Lava Dome? Like the back of Lava Dome. You cut out right when went back in after hitting the switch.
a measly steel sword.
Okay,
We
then.
were
Just like, well, that's the nail in the coffin right there.
we were
Yeah.
getting really hyped because we were speculating that Suncoin was behind Wyvern, and if it had been, it would have been a dual go mode situation.
Yeah. But all right, so Linkalot. Yeah, you spent a good bit of time hunting for your other wizard spell. We saw you grab Meteor, and then and I was thinking, he may just go for it with Meteor and count on Phoebe to carry him. But were you just not going to go for it with just Meteor?
I mean, if I would have had to go with it with Meteor, I would have, but I figured that last check in Doom Castle is not a huge time sink, and if White or Flare are there, I gain time off it, period. Especially if Dark King would have ended up being a chunky boy. He felt like paper. I almost want to say the Wyvern in Doom Castle had more health than Dark King did, or felt like it at least.
Yeah, I
It was
think he rolled
close.
about 50.
Yeah. So RPG on your end, since we didn't get to see it, what kind of hunting around did you do once you got to Windia? Did you find the Flare and Doom Castle as well, or did you go in with that conveniently placed Meteor?
I grabbed the meteor. I went up and grabbed the thunder spell out of the Mobius chest, and then I did manage to grab flare out of the Age of Shield chest. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So did
Hey, I
you
run this game.
did you
Sorry.
did you jump out of Ice Pyramid as soon as you found the multi key, or did
Yeah,
you?
that's
All
it.
right.
I was like, yep, I can get to Windia. Let's go.
Yeah. The only thing you missed out on was a Cupid locket in the Noble Armor chest.
No, I grabbed that because I fell
Okay.
down first, hoping that would be the quick way out, and it wasn't. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, but that was such a thin Dark King that, like, if you had gone without Cupid, I don't think it would have mattered.
No,
Um,
I had that instance with the race on Friday where not Friday whenever the last race was, where Ben didn't have flare or white, so basically had to run triage, and it sucks, but it's doable.
Oh yeah, it's 100% doable.
So I have some questions,
Go right
and
ahead.
I'll start with Linkalot here. What made you fade Medusa on the first pass? Is it something that you've been routing in practice, or is it just kind of a gut feeling you wanted to act on?
It was more Medusa can be one of those fights that's either really nice or it's really terrible. And having the Sun coin, I was just like, or Sand coin, I mean, with how much opened up even without a claw, I'm just like, I have a feeling progression's probably sitting somewhere in Aquaria right now. I was wrong, but that's why kind of when it came down to it and I got the key or I forget what I got. And then I went to Ice Pyramid again. Or Dragon Claw, and I went back to Ice Pyramid and got my go modes and all of that sitting in Ice Pyramid. That's why I went back there. I'm just like, I still don't have a Sun coin. It's like Ice Pyramid's got to be my play probably, but I'm gonna check Wintry Cave first, because the play is probably Ice Pyramid. But if Wintry Cave is holding it, that saves me a bunch of time because I've already been in Ice Pyramid too, so I know something decent is there if I have to do it because I can just pick up the Cupid Locket again. But
Yeah, and I mean you had exit by your revisit, so you'd only have to make half the travel time anyways. RPGchick, I did want to pick your brain. What made you decide to go full lava dome as opposed to dipping out early and going to Ice Pyramid this time?
I thought I would make a good gamble because a lot of people don't like to finish Lava Dome, and it did not pay off. And I think it was that because I only lost by about 3 minutes, so that was like I said, that was the nail in the coffin.
Very unfortunate. Like I said, the whole time me and Woad are sitting at the edge of our seats going, there could be a sun coin there. There could be a sun coin behind that dragon. If that was the case, this would have been a very tight race, probably up to either one at this point. I did want to pick your guys' brain about kind of the railroading and the routing. Being directed to Fireberg that early and with such a limited kit in your guys' practice, and we'll start with you, SirLinkalot. What we saw tonight, is that typically how you've been handling things when you have a seed that railroads you that way? Or, have you been sticking the Fireberg more often, and tonight you decided to make the play to dip the Aquaria early?
it kind of depends on what Ben has for equipment and everything. All I really had for offense was arrow and an Excalibur, and that's why I didn't really feel too comfortable. Like, if I absolutely needed to, like if I didn't get Sandcoin, I would have been fine fighting Medusa. But it's just like, Medusa fight could take a while. It could be a huge time sink, and that's one of those fights you can put a bunch of time into it, and then she just kills your party because it's like, hey, Ruben just got stoned, and she does something to Ben to kill Ben. I had Aegis Shield at that point, so Stone wasn't a concern, but she can still do a lot of damage, and Ben wasn't exactly too high of a level there yet either.
Yeah, and she also has paralysis, so
Yep.
even if you have Aegis Shield and you don't have Gaia armor or Noble armor, that can still be a really nasty trip. And I'll redirect this to you, RPGchick. What made you decide to go the routing you did, basically full clear Fireberg instead of dip into Aquaria early? Is this again something that you've seen in practice, or like you said earlier, was this just kind of a gamble?
I've been getting a lot of seeds with like River Coin being the first coin lately, and Medusa has more often than not had something useful. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I got the sand coin. I will give Medusa like the good old college try, and it just happened to work out the way that it did. And I was like, okay, I got the claw. I can at least go get Ruben's items so that I don't have to pick him back up necessarily, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think honestly, with you guys being 3 minutes apart from each other, I think that's honestly what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the tournament. With the caliber of players we have here in the semifinals, is very close races like this, 2 to 3 minutes apart. So I'll be interested to see what you guys do in race two.
We'll
Yeah,
see what happens. It's tomorrow night, so
I was about to ask, have y'all set your time for race 2 yet? Is
yeah,
it going to be the same time as?
11
Okay.
p.m. Eastern because we have some stuff we have to do IRL.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So y'all heard it here first. That'll be somewhere. I don't think a channel's been settled on yet, but if you would like to know where Race 2 is going to happen, ffmqrando.net has both this randomizer and a link to our Discord where we do mention when all of these races are happening. So if you're still with us and you like what you saw, you are more than welcome to come hang out, join us, and learn more about this rando along with the rest of us, because it is still a very young randomizer. I think we actually even brought it up because this race was going so fast. This sucker's only been in development like this year.
Indeed. And if you guys are interested in racing as well, we do have weekly seeds where we do asynchronous races and a role that you can sign up for to be pinged whenever you want to have an impromptu race. The tournaments are not the only times we race each other. So if you want to get involved in the community, if you want to go ahead and get in early, the Discord's the place to be.
Absolutely. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get some final thoughts out of the way and get this and give SpeedGaming their channel back. So RPGchick, any final thoughts?
Honestly, I'm surprised I only lost by 3 minutes because Linkalot is a very talented runner for this.
It could have easily swung either way. Linkalot, what about yourself?
I mean, I enjoyed the seed. It was a good one. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's race. See if I can, I guess, make finals, or if we're gonna give everybody probably what they want and see a game 3 between us. But we'll see. It should be an exciting race.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've pretty much said all we need to say. Shout outs to Mortal Mago, by the way, for stepping in to give tracking a shot. This is their first time tracking, and they did a fantastic job keeping us honest. So I think that pretty much handles everything. Hebbings, you want to see us out the door?
For sure. So, want to give a huge shout out to SpeedGaming for hosting us tonight. Chat, if you could, go ahead and give our runners a follow. My co-commentator, Woad, thank you so much for joining me on the mic tonight, and be sure to give him a follow as well. Don't mind me. And Mortal Mago, if they have a Twitch, feel free to give them a follow as well. I look forward to a interesting round 2. Hopefully, we'll see a round 3 from you two, and we'll see you all tomorrow night.